feeling okay?
I'm feeling great.
You ready?
Yeah, I have a bad tendency to get too serious anyway, so this is perfect.
What is your name?
My name is Tony Cantwell. Well, my name is actually Anthony Cantwell, but I go by Tony.
What do you think the best thing about you is?
My lips. My big juicy lips. I got pretty good eyebrows too.
What show are you currently binge watching?
I'm very cutthroat with my shows. If it's not tickling me now with the first 20 minutes, it's getting the bin. I'm watching Chaos, that show where Jeff Goldblum's a god. I'm enjoying it.
What do you love doing?
Such a broad, great question that it forces me into some specific therapy answer. Or not. Maybe that's just me. Why is it getting hot in here as me? What do you like doing? Is that what you asked? In my work, I like to make funny things, and I like to be around funny people for the day. In private, I like to collect retro action figures. I'm trying to collect all the toys that I had when I was a child. That's my greatest passion at home.
Where do you feel safe?
Spooning my wife. I said it like it was creepy, but it's actually very sweet and nice.
How do you unwind after a busy week?
I go on Reddit, the action figure Reddit, and I look up bootlegs that you can buy on AliExpress of toys I'm never going to buy. Whatever things I do. I'm fixing up my shed, and I'm very bad at DIY, but I like to give it a shot. I was taking the blade out of the pack to put into the jigsaw, and I sliced my finger open. And then I was like, okay, I don't want this blade moving. So I want to be handy, but I also want to save my hands.
What is something that makes you happy?
I love looking forward to things. I think looking forward to things is better than things happening. That's why I hate when people return from like Australia and they're like, surprise me mum after being away for 7 years. Why didn't you tell her that it was coming? Why didn't you tell her you're coming back next week? She'd be walking on air. And then you arrive and you're just there and you're like, oh mum. She's like, oh, I haven't cleared out the box room. And everyone's sad. You blew it.
Would you rather fight 500 ostriches or 1 T-Rex?
Oof. I mean, I'd gladly just fight 500 ostriches, to be honest. Just with no proviso that a T-Rex might be in question. I would be killed by both, so actually genuinely probably a T-Rex just to see it. Just to have that kind of like Sam Neill, you know, Jurassic Park reaction before I'm chewed up to bits would be pretty sweet.
What would you like to achieve before death?
I mean, I don't really mind. I don't really mind. I used to mind a lot, and now I don't really mind. Especially now I've done this. This is great. I can't believe that this show exists and I got to kind of collaborate with people. I know that's lame. This is silly, but it's enough. I've done enough now.
What advice would you give to someone trying to find their own voice?
I would say, yeah, do things in other people's voices first, and then figure out what you like and what you don't like. Because a blank sheet of paper isn't scarier than that.
Who's been the most influential person in your life?
My wife. No, my wife gave me a bit of advice when I first met her, and I worked in a call center, and then I was actually unemployed for a while, and I kind of thought like I had to have loads because my friends were kind of very successful and were looking at like buying houses and stuff. And then she was like, I've never met anyone that puts so much pressure on themselves as you do, and if you just didn't do that and you just looked at doing like kind of 1% on the day before, then you know, I think you'd be a much happier person. She totally dropped any pressure that I had on myself.
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear as someone who's like self-employed is that like all work just like dries up, but like that's becoming less and less. I don't know, I just kind of think it seems unlikely. You know, you have these kind of fears when you start doing something, and then the longer you do it, I'm like, well, that didn't happen this year, and that didn't happen now the next year, and then you look back the last 5 years and it's like it hasn't happened. Then probability wise is it probably isn't gonna happen, and if it would happen, it's not something that would happen urgently.
If the world was ending, would you be satisfied with your life?
Probably wouldn't have the capacity to think about myself, because I'd be thinking about other people, because I'm amazing like that. But yeah, I would actually, yeah. And I know it's yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking about even the fact, Michael, that you're asking me this question, and that we're doing this bit of promo for this show. That is like far exceeded my wildest. Like if I remember, my dad used to tell me what Christmas was coming up, and he would tell me about like things I'm gonna get at Christmas, and I was like just jumping up and down in my bed with just a pure excitement. If I told myself as a kid that I even get to sit here and do a promo for something like this, I probably would have like just leapt out my skin with the excitement. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Do you have any last message?
Now here's my last message, right? don't surprise your ma, right? She's getting too old for this. Just tell her it's coming up. Let her look forward to it. Looking forward to things is better than doing things, alright? That's the Tony Campbell guarantee. Watch Good Boy.